So the next token on our list is one called Aerodrome. So this is a DEX on the base chain, which is Coinbase's layer 2. So quite an interesting chart, as we can see from a pattern. We've had a first wave, a deeper retracement, and we're currently pushing up again. As usual, we will put in our key levels. So we have our all-time high and our all-time low. And then we'll look at monthly levels. There's some interesting monthly levels. You've got one there. You've got one here. You've got one slightly below here. You've got one there. There. And there. So if I make all of these white and label these monthly, and so if we dive deeper onto the weekly chart, what can we see? So looking at this, you can see a nice weekly level here, and this served as the bounce just above the all-time low. So we've got that there. As we can see, this monthly level sits wonderfully there. And this one, if we move that down slightly, we can see it captures that. What can we see? There is a nice weekly level there, just above the monthly. What else have we got? There is an interesting one there at 147.4. We've got a very nice level there. And let's have a look. Zoom in. What else do we have? Do we have anything here? Yeah, so there is a weekly level there. I put that one on. Fantastic. Right, so if we zoom out, we can see price has moved up, taken out this liquidity here. As you can see, this is quite a big liquidity zone. You can see it's pulled back off of there. So what I will do is I will draw a box above here in these wicks. So you can see there. Yeah, so perfect. We can see it's pushed up above, taken out this liquidity. What else can we see? This zone here, we can tell is quite a nice zone, as whenever price has moved into this area, we see very sudden movements, which is why we've got a lot of wicks grabbing the liquidity in this zone, and we've seen it move quite quickly through, which hints that this here, we can see it's dipped in on the weekly, either to give it some fuel to come down and retest some areas, or to push up and potentially push through quite quickly. Change these to grey. There we are. So what else do we notice on a chart? If we get our volume out, is there any particular areas where we see quite high volume? Yep, there is one here just below this weekly level. So I'll get a horizontal ray, put it there. What else do we have? We can see that there's a high volume zone there, just above there. We've got a nice one there. It's the key volume point. And if we look above, we can see a little bit of a volume spike just above this liquidity zone. So this could be potentially an area where we see price come in and react and come off. So if we take that off and we can zoom in on the daily and see what do we have from a near-term perspective. So we will take that and move that slightly across. So we can see we're just pushing into this liquidity zone. It's held this weekly level quite nicely here on the daily. You can see it's formed a nice range. It's broken out. It's pushed into this liquidity zone. So I would, if I was trading this, I'd potentially look for, if you're looking for a long, I would potentially look for a little pullback into somewhere in this box. So if we go across there, we can see, I'll move that down slightly. That's a great little backtest zone. You also have quite a nice one that sticks out to me there, which sits just under that wick. Or you may see a retest of that weekly level. On the upside, we can see this weekly level is quite a key zone. Within this liquidity zone, we can see a lot of volume around here. And above it, we can see some there. So potentially on this, you may see a push up and a rejection around here and a push down, or we see this come down, sweep either here, here, or here, and then push back up potentially through this liquidity zone up to this weekly level, and then you may see a push further up into this zone here. But yeah, definitely a ticker to keep an eye on. It moves quite nicely. You also have some downside risk. I think should it come down and you lose this weekly level here, you're then potentially looking at a retest of this level down here. As you can see, there's quite a large fair value gap that sits here. So below this monthly level is where it may get a little bit scary, as you're then looking sort of down here at this 80 cents region.